Hey guys, Poplar Mechanic here. Today we are going to be splicing these boom slings, or double B slings they're called. Right here I have one I've already spliced with a bend right ring. I really wanted to try these rings. They have a nice bend radius. They're supposed to be really good for negative rigging and stuff like that. But here's the first one I spliced into an ultra sling here. It's just, I haven't had a chance to use it, but I know that these slings are awesome. I have several other ones that I made, and they're just great for rigging quick, you know, super fast, really good slings. I like them a lot, and they're obviously lighter than blocks and things like that. So here's the bend right ring I made. I haven't had a chance to use it yet. I have posted some pictures on Instagram and stuff, and people were asking, well, how did you splice it? Now, I was digging around for information. I couldn't personally find anything that was like how to splice this sling exactly, so I kind of just put together with some pictures and stuff that I did. It looks to be right. If you go to Tree Stuff, it looks pretty much identical to theirs. Obviously, they don't have a bend right ring. Anyways, so today we'll be splicing up another one. Now, I don't have another one of these bend right rings. These are the only rings I have. So today we'll be doing one with these two notch rings I got from Tree Stuff. I've just had them sitting around for a while. So we'll be doing a double header with some 5/8 tenix. So let's get right into it. Okay guys, so once you find the middle of the rope, what you're going to want to do is measure out 1 foot in the center here. So measure out 1 foot. I've already made the marks, but what you can do, you just make 1 mark here, 1 mark at 12. The next thing you're going to want to do is go to 6 inches, okay, on your tape. Start from one end. So all you're doing here is just finding center. So there's my first 12-inch mark, and this will be 6 right in there. So now I've got 3 marks at the center of the sling, the 12-inch, 6-inch, and 12-inch. So 1 foot, and then in the center of that 1 foot you'll have another mark. Alright, I'm just going to fix up the ends and get them ready to splice. Okay guys, so I've already got this end prepped. I'm using a 3/4 fid for this because that's just what I had kicking around, and it does work. It'll easily go through the core, and I've just tapered the end and then taped it onto here, and I'll just show you exactly how I did that on the other side. Let's turn you guys this way. Okay, so basically you just make a nice long taper. Okay, then once you've got that tapered up, you just go to the electrical tape. Start your taping from the bottom. Get her nice and tight. There we go, nice and tight, just like that. And don't worry if you got a bit sticking out the end. Snip that end. And then basically I just slip it into there, get it in nice and tight, and then I'll tape this on as well. And the reason you start from the bottom is because the way the tape transitions, then it won't catch anything. See, if you were to start from the top, all the ribs of the tape would be hitting the tenix. So that's just a little tip right there. Alright, I'll tape this one up and then we'll get to the next part. Okay guys, once you got the ends all taped up and ready to splice, and the reason I tape them to the fids with this is because with the ultra slings you're doing a lot of back and forth. It's just easy to have them right there ready to go. So there's your 12-inch mark on the left hand side ring, and then here's where you want to come out at the 6 right here. So basically you just take the fid, open up the rope, make a fat rope, and then my marks there, I'll go in about here, just below. Make sure you're not picking anything up. You'll know if you are. And then if you just keep pulling it down, just like that, it can slide through. We'll just go just above that mark. Just like that. You can just slide her through. And if you just work this back too, you don't have to put a ton of force. I mean, with the tape I got on there, I could pull it, but it's just easier to do it like this. So that'll be your first, where your ring's gonna go. So you're just gonna pull all that through. Now I have a long rope here, guys, but you may not necessarily need one. It's just the reason I like my slings a bit longer, number one, and number two, if I did cut it, the other piece wouldn't be good for much. Okay, now when you get close to where you're gonna choke this off, you're going to want to make sure that this is twisted correctly. So there's kind of a flat part of the tenax, and there's kind of like a wider part of it. You're going to want that wider part to be into the ring. Okay, we'll just pull this down. Make sure it's not twisted up here. There we go. That's what you want right there. So it's nice and slim all the way around. And then this is where you can pop your ring in. And then I usually pinch these edges in. Get her nice and solid on that ring. Get her tight like this, and then just kind of milk that back. So just like that, that's what your first ring should look like. I got about 6 inches there. I mean, you guys can go 7. You can go whatever you want here. I just prefer this length, and I don't think strength is the issue, like I said. So that's your first one there. I'll get the next one set up, and we'll go to that. Okay, so now that we got this ring in, so here's that 6-inch mark again where I went in. Here's the other one. So now I'll want to put this side of the rope through here. So make that rope fat. I'm going to go just underneath. Yeah, you want to make sure you don't catch one strand either, because it is possible. You're just going to poke that through. Make a fat rope all the way. And you're going to want to come out in that exact same hole there. Milk that down. Milk her some more. Just kind of work that rope through. She gets a bit stiff there, not too bad. Alright, and once you get her through there, you just keep pulling. Once again, make sure this stuff's orientated. You'll know what I mean when you feel it. So this should be rolled like this. And there we go. And then before you sink her down, obviously put your other ring in. Make sure everything's orientated correctly. Give her a nice cinch into there. Make sure she's nice and tight. this side done too. And there you go. That's the base for splicing this ultra sling. Now at this point you can go to whatever type of sling you want. If you wanted a whoopee sling or whatever, you can still do that kind of stuff. You just bury it in. You'll have to look the instructions up on that. But anyways, that'll give you the double beast. And you see why I like the 6. It's nice. I mean, if you wanted to go 7, go 7. There you go. Now you got 2 ends of your rope through, just like that. And now I'll carry on to do the ultra splice. Okay, I'll just get that set up and we'll see you then. Okay, so now that I've got my double head spliced here, I can just carry on, do the ultra sling. So basically what you're going to do now is look into this part here, and you're just going to put the fid right through the center of the rope. It's a 12 strand, so you should have 6 on both sides. 6 on both sides. You don't really have to count though, guys. You can just tell if you got her in the center. So same thing, you'll make a fat rope, go in, you know, wherever seems easiest. Couple picks above the splice there should be fine. I just kind of make a fat rope, stick it through. Make sure I didn't pick anything up here, right? Because you can split those double strands, but try not to, and don't pick anything. That's why it's nice to have the fids. And you can pretty much tell what center looks like. I just flip it one way, like this, and then flip it the other, just like that. And when you've got that done, you're just gonna pull, just adjust my camera here. You're just going to pull this through. Okay, and same thing with this. You want to keep this orientated when you do these bramble splices. So this is nice and slim this way, is exactly what you want. Okay, so you're just going to pull that through, just like that. And that should be your first section. Okay, so this right side of the rope went through this rope, sorry. So the right went through this rope, so now this rope has to go through this rope. So what you're going to do here is just go 2 picks above, so 1, 2, and you're going to put this side in this rope now. And that's kind of how I just play it in my head. I just go, you know, if I get confused or something, I just go, this rope went through this rope, so now this rope has to go through this rope. So we'll go a couple picks above here, make a fat rope. Make sure we're not splitting any strands. Have a look straight down, make sure she's right on that center. So I'm going to pull this through. Make sure everything's orientated correctly. Just like that. Sink everything in. This first one's kind of the important one, guys. You just want to make sure everything's really symmetrical and strong. Okay, so we've got the 2 done there. Let's just recap what we did. This rope went through this rope. So now this rope's got to go through this rope. And now we're at the third and final one. This one went through this one. So now this one's got to go through this one. So we'll just go 2 picks up here. just like that. Oh, did I split one there? No. Okay, that's center. Let's just pull that through. I mean, these ultra slings are really easy, guys. I'm just showing you this because make sure everything's orientated correctly. Just like that. Boom. And you got yourself your triple. And then once you get the triple bramble in, you got your 2 rings, triple bramble, you're going to make a gap. Now this gap depends on what size of thing you're trying to put through there, whether it be a block, a ring, 2 rings, right? So you're obviously going to need a little bit more room. I usually go around, I think it was 7.5 I did on my bend right there. But anyways, you have to figure out that measurement. You just put the rings through and see how comfortable or how much room you think you need to get those through. And then what you'll do is you'll measure that, go up here, and then start the process again with the triple bramble splice. Okay guys, so once you get to the end of the splice here, it's not a big deal. You finished your triple bramble there, you're at the end of the splice. Now you're just going to take this and slide her through. You can go a couple picks up again, it doesn't really matter. I try to get this one fairly close. Try not to pick anything up. Oop, like that. Trying to make a fat rope here. There we go. Okay. Now if you want, you can follow the Samson instructions for doing these finishing splices, but I think with this splice it doesn't really matter that much because you've got everything secured in. This is more of a looks thing, so I'm going to back this off a little bit. Save a little room for that butt splice. I'd say we go about there. This is just kind of sizing up the sort of the size of tail I want here. Then you come out, and again you're just gonna milk this down. Okay, and then once that pops out, you just pull it through. Make sure everything's orientated here. You got a bit of a twist, and that'll happen. There, and then that just sinks inside of here, so you pull that down. And then just milk it out. Okay, and then once you see you've got this all milked out, and then basically you're just going to pull some of this line out of here just like this. Okay, just pull a bit out. Get your scissors, put a taper on there. And the truth is with these you don't even really have to put a taper. They actually kind of butt up nicely with just full rope, but in this case, whatever, I threw a little taper on there, no big deal. Just milk that back until that disappears into the center of the rope. Now you're going to want to lock stitch this up, especially in these areas, just so that doesn't fray on the inside, which it generally won't, but it's a good idea to do some lock stitching here and on the side where the eyes are, where the rings are. So we got that spliced in. Okay, now you got to do the butt splice. I can't remember, I may have to take this fit off for this. I'll just get her in where I can here. Whoops. So yeah, just fatten that rope up so you can get her through. And then you'll start running into where you tucked your tail. I usually try to go a bit above it if I can, unless it's too ornery. It's not really a big deal if you have a little soft spot there. Okay, I'm going to back this up some more. I'm going to bring that butt splice to about there. Okay, so that's all I've done is buried this section of the tail that comes out, buried it in here, just buried it all the way in, pulled it, scrunched some back, pulled it out, cut it on a taper, smoothed her over, and now I'm just doing the same thing with the other end, going the other way, the butt splice. So we're going to pull that through, just keep milking her back here. And hopefully I didn't pick something up in there. There we go. There, just pull that through. There. You see, once that pops through, then you'll end up with a little eye on this end. You're basically just going to pull. Just like that until that butt sort of looks like that. Okay, so you end up with that. You're also going to want to lock stitch this, and then just the same concept. Now you can either taper this or just do a straight cut. If you just do a straight cut, it seems to facilitate less of a sort of a soft spot here. So anyways guys, I'm going to go ahead and cut this. So I've got her pulled down into there. That's the end of my splice. I'm just going to pull a bit of rope out like that. Just pull her out. Give her a little snip here. Without a taper on this one. And then you're just going to pull that back just like that. See, I still got a bit of a soft spot in there, but that's not a big deal at all. Alright guys, so when you're finished you should end up with something that looks like this. There's the butt splice. You're going to want to lock stitch this, especially in these areas where you cut the rope. I usually just run a lock stitch straight down up one way and then come through the side, come back, just back and forth. Super easy with the right size thread. And if you don't have the right size thread, you can also double it up. Okay, so we've got these pockets all the way down with these triple bramble splices. Sorry about the low light guys, but yeah, I mean it's just a really good sling. This one's a bit shorter than my double beast one there, but you know, this will rig down a pretty good chunk of tree. Another note is you're definitely going to want to, what I do is I spread these open and pull them, and then you can lock stitch this. I would lock stitch down here and then through the side again, just back and forth. Do that on both sides just to keep these from popping out under no load, but obviously once there's load on them you're going to be fine. Now these ones don't seem to tighten down as much as if you do the triple bramble splice. Like say you were to use a single ring with the triple, which is also a great sling and I love. If you guys want to see me splice that up, just leave some comments, let me know, and I can splice this large ring. Now these definitely have their uses for the double whip and stuff, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Anyways, there it is guys, the double beast sling. And if you guys have anything you want to add to this or know something I don't, please feel free to leave a comment and let me know. This is just something I came up with from basically looking at one picture. So thanks for tuning in guys, I appreciate all the support. 750 subs now, that's awesome. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.